never had the joy. This is a tradition that goes all the way back to the group that I was in seminary. We had a weekend retreat in which, in 48 hours, we did all the services of Lent, Holy Week, and Easter in teams. Never being shy, I stole this idea from some colleagues, and now I don't even remember who did come up with it. It's worked well with youth groups. Children don't quite have the muscle for it. A lot of us don't have the stomach for it. Get over it. I wish y'all had known my daddy. If you think I'm outgoing, you should have met Gene Sr. He was also a whale of a left-handed carpenter. At a church in Biloxi, Mississippi, we put together this same service. Everybody was given a nail. Nice, shiny 16 penny. These are real shiny. Walmart sells them pretty cheap. And I said, I want you to pray about our involvement as human beings in the crucifixion of Jesus. Not out of guilt, hopefully out of gratitude. And so that each of us feels a little bit of our responsibility, and I invite them, as I'm about to invite you, to come up to the cross, to take a nail, to pick up a hammer, and to drive it in. Now, don't feel like you've got to anchor it to the table. That particular evening, everybody would come up and just kind of and hope it stayed, you know. Big Dago strided down the middle aisle, picked up his hammer that I had taken out of his toolbox that night, said, I know where you got this, put it back. And in one shot, drove a 16 penny nail into a 4x4. And he said, if you're going to nail somebody, do it right. That's good theology. Because until we know what it's like to pick up a hammer and be responsible, we ain't done it right. I invite you tonight not to be a respectable Christian. We got too many of those. They're sort of like Facebook Christians. I need some responsible ones to come and take ownership, to come and acknowledge the price that Christ has paid for us. Here's a hammer. Here's some shiny new nails. What do you want to do? Imagine, can you imagine the real event? When Lewis had come back home from his second deployment to Afghanistan, we were down at Fair. It's been a year ago. We were gearing up to do another show, and we were talking about stuff, and I thought he was all the way back and everything was good. And then some idiot in the upstairs of the barn where we kept horse stuff threw something out, and it hit the ground. And so did Lewis. And he was visibly shaken, very embarrassed, apologized, and walked off by himself for a while. We came back and said, "How are you, bud?" He said, "I'm not all the way back yet." Everybody would ask him, "What's it like?" He said, "I thought I knew before I went." Dad, I didn't have a clue. On their first time to get hit by an IED, the bad guys took out the foreman first, and then tried to make mincemeat of everybody else. He said all the movies, even Spielberg, couldn't come close to what it was like. This is just a pale imitation of what it was like. When some of our folks, and back then it was mainly the boys that came home from Vietnam, we didn't do a real good job. Well, that's an understatement. We did a sinful job as a country, welcoming them back and saying thank you for your service because of the nature of that conflict. It's sort of like how God looks at us. You can hate a war and not hate the warriors. Do you know that? You can hate sin and not hate sinners. That is what God is all about. Now, folks come home and we have parades. Folks in Vietnam and Korea, they didn't get a lot of parades. And we should be ashamed of ourselves for that. If anybody needed to be tarred and feathers,